Hey, just want to give a shout out, Dr. Dawn, Dr. John, Dr. Dawn. Hey, just want to give a shout out to Dr. Dawn. She's a new client. And so she quickly learned the personal injury basics of the documentation and the attorney marketing. And within 3 days, she booked 6 personal injury attorney presentations. 6. And she did that in 3 days. And here's how it went. So what do we do first? Remember, we have our list first of highly probable target market attorneys. Remember, we divide those up into ones that are easier to communicate with and deal with. So that's the list we start with. And then we start and we give them a call and say, hey, this is Dr. So-and-so, chiropractor here in the community. And we're looking for personal injury attorneys to help work with our cases. So we don't tell them we're going to refer them. We just say we're looking for personal injury attorneys to work with our cases. You work with personal injury clients, yes. Then I'd like to stop by and introduce myself. That's the introduction right there. That's it. Only takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Now, we don't go to lunch. We don't want to set up a meeting. It's real important. It's just an introduction. It's no more than 5 to 10 minutes, and that's it. That's the second contact. So the first contact is the phone call. That's what's said on the phone call to get to the meeting, to the second contact, which is the introduction. So here's how it goes. So if it were me, I say, hey, this is Dr. Paul. I'm calling, wanted to see, we work with personal injury clients. I'm looking to work with personal injury attorneys to help with my personal injury clients. Do you work with personal injury? Of course, we already know that. Yes. So what I'd like to do is come by and introduce myself. Only take about 5 or 10 minutes. When is that possible? Is that possible in the next day or two? Yes. Okay, stop by. And remember, we want to meet the attorney and make sure the attorney's there. So what times meet the attorney, morning or afternoon? So you schedule the appointment. Okay. That'll get you in. So when you just say, hey, I'm a chiropractor here in town. I work with personal injury clients. I'm looking for attorneys to help work with my personal injury clients. I'd like to introduce myself. That's all that's need to be said right there. And then don't try to go for a lunch or anytime. People are busy. You don't want to, even if they want to on the first meeting, you do not. It's like you want 5 to 10 minutes, that's it. So you want it to be a very low inconvenience thing that is easy to happen. And it's easy to happen in the next 2, 3, 4 days. I don't have to put it on a calendar for 2 weeks and then take a lunch off. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. So that's exactly what she did. Scheduled 6 of them. So she and then when we go to the meeting, hey, Dr. Don, good to meet you, blah, 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 blah. You from here, you in school, just chit chat. And then you get to the point. Point is, I'm Dr. Don, Dr. So-and-so. And again, we work with personal injury clients. And we're looking for attorneys to help work with our personal injury clients. I see you do personal injury, okay? Well, one of the things that we've noticed, now we're going to introduce the subject. Now we're going to introduce the subject to stir their awareness and interest to get to, in other words, get them interested enough so we can get to a presentation. In other words, they'll be willing to take time out. But we want to do what's called a pre-sale first. So we want to do a marketing campaign. We want to stir the awareness and interest. That's the goal now. It is not to leapfrog and try to schedule a meeting. They don't have the need yet. So at that short meeting, we said, by the way, we found that doctors, and here's the key, we found that that the doctors not trained in personal injury documentation leave out or miss about 57% of the documentation, which translate to the average attorney seeing only 2 or 3 personal injury clients a month loses about $250,000 a year just from the lack of the doctor's documentation and training. That's what we found out. Have you been having any experiences with that? Low ball offers, things like that, blah, blah, blah. And then comes the offer. Well, I'll tell you what, take a look at this. Here we put together a video. This is a video given to attorneys. And it actually explains the 10 different categories of documentation that will determine the injury award and how at least as much as 70% of the time out of those 10 categories, as many as 7 out of 10 are not even being documented, and the attorney does not even know it. And so they get the lack of documentation, and now they're stuck with a lowball offer. And that typically, like I said, turns out to be, if an attorney's seeing only 2 to 3, average clients a month, it turns out to be about $250,000 a year in lost revenue. And it's the doctor's fault, not the attorney's. So take a look at it. It's only about 15 to 20 minutes long. I'd be curious to see what you have to think about it. Let me stop back by in about 3 days, about 72 hours, and let me know what you think about it. Will that work for you? Okay. Let's go ahead and schedule that. So 3 days, today's Wednesday. Let's go ahead and do it Monday, morning or afternoon, early night. And then again, it'll only take about 5 to 10 minutes when I stop back by. So we're doing very low stepping stones with time, effort to increase awareness, interest. And then we come back 3 days, say, hey, did you get a chance to watch it? What did you think? And then we're just going to confirm those issues. Yeah, these are the 10 categories. This typically hasn't been covered. This, that. And I'll tell you what, I can go over in detail with you why that's happening and how to stop it. And it'll take probably about 30, 45 minutes, something like that. Let's go ahead and schedule that, and I'll be glad to come back and go over that with you in detail. That's exactly how it's done. Dr. Don did exactly that, scheduled six personal injury presentations within 3 days, out of the blocks. And that was her first 6. She'd never done this before. She's got 6 personal injury presentations lined up now because of it. What does that mean? Well, with our success rate, we have 95, 98% of them that immediately start referring on that at the end of that presentation. So, and it's 2 clients. So she's got 6 attorneys. So she's going to have those 2 referrals from at the end of that presentation. She's going to get 12 referrals right from the end of that presentation. And then what she does is builds the credibility and authority from those cases. And that's when the attorneys see the huge contrast in difference between the crap they're getting with 57 to 70% of the documentation missing, that's hurting and limiting their injury award. In other words, it's creating less than a 3-to-1 injury award ratio for medicals. And that's why the attorneys are always asking for the doctor to cut their bill, because they're not getting enough money relative to the documentation. And the real reason they're not getting the documentation is the doctor doesn't know it, but he doesn't know it. So he gives limited documentation. The attorney doesn't know any better. He thinks that's all there is to it. He submits it, and they offer him less than 2-to-1. His hands are tied. He doesn't know any better. And then he has to ask the doctor, hey, I need you to cut your bill. All that stops with our training. We not only do the documentation that covers all the 10 categories, that gets better than a 3-to-1 injury award. And that's the key. When you get a 3-to-1 injury award relative to the medicals, that's when you will not have attorneys asking you to cut your bill. Not only that, you will also get all the referrals, because they're not getting that anywhere. They're getting lowball offers left and right, and it's the doctor's fault. The only good thing from the doctor's perspective is the attorney doesn't know that yet. Well, they learn about it when we talk to them. They see all the vital documentation that's missing, that's hurting and limiting their injury awards. And when you multiply that up, you take 2 or 3 cases, and they're missing $5, $7, $8, $10,000 a case from bad documentation. Multiply that times 3 times 5 is 15 to 20. You multiply $20,000 a month over 12 months. There's your $250,000 loss, just like that. All from the doctor's lack of documentation. So anyway, congratulations to Dr. Don. Brand new in training, never did personal injury before. We taught her the documentation. We taught her the attorney sales presentation. We taught her the campaign to just immediately kickstart it real fast. And that's how you quick kickstart it real fast. It's a phone call, 1 contact, follow up then the pre-sale video to the 3rd contact. The 4th contact is the sales presentation. And we get 2 referrals started immediately from that point. And typically, by the time we do the second referral, they're asking us to now be their expert witness for all our cases. That's what typically happens. So congratulations to Dr. Don. And again, if you want to learn how to do this, and by the way, how much revenue does that mean? Well, if she only gets 2 cases a month from 6 attorneys, that's 12. If her case average is $5,000, $60,000 a month, that's at 66, that's 720, $700,000 from 6 attorney presentations. This is how powerful it is.